Connacht put in a great performance in the last home game of the season. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. Early in this one, Cardiff get pinged for taking a man off the ball. Connacht go to the corner. They set up the maul but knock on. Cardiff then win the penalty from the scrum and they're able to clear. A while after then, Connacht, they're able to turn Cardiff over. They strike from that. Farrell bursts through a gap and then he pops it off to Kilgannon, who goes over to score. It's converted by Carty 7-0 to Connacht. Cardiff trying to respond, go through some phases, but then Jared Butler gets over the ball and wins the penalty. Connacht then worked their way to within 10 metres and win a penalty. We then have a TMO check for a high hit. Bodum gets a yellow card for head contact to Conor Oliver. There is mitigation though, as Oliver was being tackled by Damachowski and kind of fell into the contact with Bodum. Connacht then kicked that to the corner. Cardiff looked like they might actually drive the maul that they set into touch. Connacht split off and Tierney Martin goes over. Conversions missed for 12-0. Connacht then strike off the back of a dominant scrum. Caelan Blade breaks, shows some good strength and offloads Oliver, who goes over. It's converted. We're at 19-0. Cardiff get back to 15 and they gets on the board finally. Belcher makes a good break. He goes close. It's recycled and then Davis goes over to score. It's converted for 19-7. Connacht then get their bonus point try. Bunyaki puts Mac Hansen through a gap to score under the post. It's converted 26-7. Bunyaki then gets pinged for being off his feet. Cardiff kick that to the corner, but they miss touch. Mac Hansen collects it and kicks it into touch, and we're at half time. Connacht, they've been very good in the first half. Cardiff good in spells, but kind of feeling like they'll need a sustained effort to make any kind of second half. Come back into the second half then. Cardiff, they get a penalty to go to the corner. Seb Davis claims the line out. They set up the maul and drive over. Young is the scorer. Priestland misses the conversion. We're at 26-12. Connacht then weather a mini Cardiff storm for the rest of the third quarter, but they managed to deny them another score in that period and finally get themselves back on attack. Hansen breaks up field. Connacht go through a number of phases in the Cardiff 22, but eventually Hansen knocks on. He took his eye off the ball for a second. Connacht then win a penalty at that scrum. They go to the corner. Cardiff halt them initially, but then the backs come in. Aki is in there. He's actually got the ball at the back of the maul. Referee awards a penalty try as Aki is grounding the ball. Youngs gets himself a yellow card. We're at 33-12. Cardiff then apply some pressure. Reece Kerr goes close and then they kick out to Ben Thomas, but he knocks on with the try line at his mercy. Kieran Marmion then gets another score for Connacht. Snipes in at the corner. Marmion, he's leaving for Bristol at the end of the season, but he's been a great servant for Connacht, and I think that is reflected by the cheer that the try got from the crowd. Conversions missed for 38-12. Young then gets held up over the line after some good work from Falatau from a line-out. He does though get his second try a minute later as Connacht missed touch from the dropout. Priestland converts that one 38-19, and that's our full-time score. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the stats from the game. So we will start on attack. So tries, 6 tries to 3 for Connacht. Never, once they kind of got going, it never really looked like Cardiff were going to make that second half comeback. They did get a couple of scores, but Connacht always had a fair buffer and never really in trouble of losing the game. Possession 44% for Connacht, 56% for Cardiff, and we've seen a lot. Teams don't have to have most of the ball to create most of the opportunities and take them as well. Clean breaks then 5 for Connacht, 3 for Cardiff. Cardiff, they've got some really talented backs, and they can make those, make that space, and they're very good as well at having multiple options as well, carrying, and it's no surprise that they made more breaks. Defenders beaten then 19 each, and that's a testament, I think, to Connacht's defence. When Cardiff were beating players, they maybe scrambled a little bit better than Cardiff did. Offloads 12 for Connacht and 9 for Cardiff. Both teams like to keep the ball alive, especially, again, that Connacht backline. A lot of talent in there going forward. On to defence then, territory 39% for Connacht, 62% for Cardiff. And again, it's kind of a trend we see, like a lot of teams, they have a lot of the ball and a lot of the territory, but can't really convert it into points or sustain pressure in the game. Number of tackles, 203 for Connacht, 111 for Cardiff. Shows the Connacht, exciting going forward, but also able to put in that effort in defence as well. Missed tackles 19 for Connacht, 18 for Cardiff. Tackle success then 91% each, which is really on the high side in the URC. You're kind of expecting around about 87% as a kind of a median for the competition. Turnovers won then 8 for Connacht and 3 for Cardiff. Those turnovers for Connacht, obviously, allowing them to get their exits when Cardiff were, had that possession and territory and were trying to apply pressure. Kicking then, 3 kick successes for Connacht and 2 for Cardiff, and a penalty count was 8 each. Didn't really have an impact on the game other than obviously the yellow cards allowing Connacht to apply a little bit more pressure when they had the extra man. Okay, so in terms of both teams, Connacht, strong finish to the season. They've now secured a playoff spot, and they could also qualify for next year's Champions Cup. Their fate is in their own hands at the moment as they sit 6th place in the table. Cardiff can't now make the playoffs after this loss. They're 5 points clear of Ospreys in the Welsh Shield. Winner of that will qualify for next year's Champions Cup, but they do go to Swansea to play Ospreys in the final round, and that's going to be a showdown really for who's going to win that Shield. Overall, a pretty exciting game and a good sign-off, I think, for Connacht at the sports ground, and a good send-off as well for, I think, they mentioned commentary, there's 8 Connacht players out of contract leaving at the end of the season. So, nice send-off. Crowd really appreciated them as well there, and all around, pretty good entertainment.